to another edition of the No Further Comments podcast, aka the NFC. This is the Basketball Insider Edition.
Basketball.
I'm your co-host Alex Meacham. And to my left,
Across the table, is our intern, the super tennis player, Will Sultan, Anderson High School senior. Yes, sir.
And tell everybody what sweatshirt you have on today.
DePaul Tigers, repping the DePaul.
That's where you're going.
Yeah.
And what song are we listening to? What song are we coming into?
Ain't no half stepping.
By who?
Big Daddy Kane.
Some Big Daddy
Every show we've done, this is episode number 4 of the Basketball Insider, we always play Big Daddy Kane because I feel it's important that you learn about great hip hop. You know, because you listen to these Uzi Vert and Yachty and Migos, that's all fine and dandy, but you need to know about Big Daddy Kane. And who are his backup dancers?
Scoop and Scrap. Lava.
All right, you can fade that out. So today we have a special guest with us. And we've not had a special guest, Will, on our Basketball Insider podcast. On our normal NFC podcast, we've had plenty of special guests. This will be the first guest. And they say usually your first guest is your best guest.
Not
You ever heard that?
I hope so.
I'm going to introduce him here in a second. But before I do that, Will, can you tell everyone our social media handles?
Yeah. Check it out. It's
What you said that like you're about to rap or something. Like you need an instrumental?
NFC Podcast on the Instagram and Twitter. Just straight NFC Podcast. And then we're going to talk about Shining Star? Or not that one?
Okay. So let me preface.
Which ones?
You said the NFC podcast. For those that don't know, I have an AAU basketball program called Shining Star for kids ages 10 all the way up to 17 years old. And if you're interested in trying out for us, we have tryouts coming out here in February and March. If you're interested in that, you can check us out on social media. Will, you want to throw that out there?
Shining Star AAU for both Twitter and Instagram.
There you go. You're on it.
Give us a follow.
Now, if you really want to slide in some DMs, you want to slide in Will's DM. What's your social media?
My personal?
Yeah, your personal. Let everybody know.
Dub Salty.
Dub Salty. There's going to be a lot of DMs. You're going to be like that kid at the Super Bowl that took a selfie with Justin Timberlake. Could you imagine how many people slid in his DMs after that selfie?
Yeah.
Like, I bet you every girl at the school that wouldn't talk to him, kind of like probably how you feel every day, but every girl that wouldn't talk to him just all of a sudden is sliding his DMs. Like, hey, what's up, big head? So,
Big head.
my social media, Instagram and Twitter is Alex_Meacham. My Snapchat is Big Meach 41.
We still need to get a Snapchat here.
We need a Snapchat for NFC.
Yeah, we do need a Snapchat.
A little behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. You know who's in charge of that?
That'd be me.
Will Sultan. I'd like to bring in our guest here today. Our first guest. They say your first guest is your best guest. And to my immediate left is a senior guard at Anderson High School. He's now a 4-year varsity player, Will. That's pretty impressive.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
His name is Drew Huxtable. Good friend of Will. Will, do you want, before we have Drew say anything, you have any good stories about Drew? How long have you known Drew?
I've known Drew since I was a little kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To preschool together.
Yeah.
Went to preschool?
Yeah.
We got some pictures.
Yeah, I got some good pictures.
If we can get that picture,
We could get it.
that will be, I will post that.
Really?
No,
We
actually,
can get it.
Will will post that because he's in
Okay.
charge of the social media.
Yeah, I'll post it.
Let's do that. You have any
Yeah.
good stories about Drew?
Oh, I probably got a lot, yeah.
That's clean?
No.
No clean
Maybe
ones?
not. Maybe, there probably are, but I need to think. I can't come up with them right now.
Okay, after we
Yeah.
wrap up the podcast,
will.
you can fill me in
I
on
will,
that.
yeah.
Drew, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Happy
Well-
to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now you've had a very good season.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been different from past 2 years, kind of jumping in a new role. So,
Right.
yeah.
Now, being a 4-year varsity basketball player, your role, like you said, has obviously changed.
Yeah.
And you going from, being a role player to being the leading guy. Now, did you take over the reins being kind of the leading guy this year, or did that start last year?
Well, last year we had Ben Summer, JT Meyer, kind of the leading scorers of the team, actually leading scorers of the league last year. And towards the end of the year, I had to step up a little bit.
Right.
So I'd say towards the end of last year, I kind of stepped up into this role a lot more, and then carried on through the summer into this year.
Now, how tough was that? I mean, last year you had 2 dynamic guards.
Yeah.
And Ben was one of, I went around watching a lot of high school basketball games last year. Ben was fun to watch.
He was a fun player to watch.
He had a lot of bounce.
He did.
You had
swag.
He had a lot of swag to
Yeah.
him. What was the nickname? Benny Buckets.
Benny Buckets.
Benny Buckets. You always had, if you were on defense, you had to guard Ben. Like
You
you had to
had
know
to.
where he was
You
at
had
all
to.
times, right?
Right.
And then Jay, obviously, Jay's very solid. He transferred out at West Claremont now, but definitely a solid. So you've got 2 solid guards, and was it tough knowing that both of them are in definitely your position?
Yeah, so, I mean, last year, I still thought Jay was going to Anderson, so I thought me and him would both be kind of the dynamic players, but
Right.
when he left, I didn't really think much about, like, being the leading scorer, like, taking on that role. I kind of just kept playing and kind of came on to me, so,
Right.
yeah.
What did your coach say to you? Like, so, and the reason I ask you this question is for a lot of young players out there that are listening to this that are potentially going to be in that same position maybe next year or the year after, where they'll be the leader of their ball club. What did your coach say to you going into this? Like, what did you have to prepare for?
So, even last year, he kind of knew I was the leader of the team, even though we had Ben and Jay being the point guard and kind of just like behind the scenes, kind of running everything almost. So, going into this year, he basically told me just to keep it up and to keep my head up. Over the summer, our team was playing really well, so he just told me to keep it up, really.
Now, what kind of work did you have to put in during the off season?
I did a lot of individual training over the off season, get my shot better, things like that, and then kind of just like forming our team together almost over the summer,
Right.
to where a totally different team.
So how'd you do that? Did you guys go like bowling together, or
No,
hang out?
actually,
hang out with Will on the weekends?
we do some
does it.
stuff together.
I'm
We
telling
we do the what is it? Breakout Cincinnati together. I mean, that's not why.
Wait
But
a minute, Breakout Cincinnati?
yeah, have you ever heard of that?
No, I'm writing this down. What is Breakout Cincinnati?
So you're put into a room and you get like 5 clues or something, and you have to break out of the room, getting clues. So
That's
it's like a
probably-
team effort.
That probably attributed to the walnut win right there, breakout.
Now,
could.
don't jump the gun. Like we're gonna build towards that. And I know where you're going with that, Will. So just quiet down,
My bad.
settle down, Will. Anyway, go ahead, finish. Before
So-
Will interrupted you.
So you're in the room with your team,
Right.
and we split up into 2 teams because it's like 9 people to a room,
Okay.
and you get an hour to break out. So you have to break out of the room.
So you feel like things like that help the team gel,
Yeah.
get to know each other?
Yeah, honestly, I do. And hanging out off the court, I think that's a big part. Just being close.
Now, what's the breakdown of the team as far as age? So you're obviously a senior. How many other
So
seniors?
we have 5 seniors. 3 of us start. We have Hunter Bodie,
Yep.
Amadeus Jones. He starts.
Great name.
Yeah.
Excellent
Amadeus
name.
Jones. He's a football guy, so.
Yep.
And then we have 3 or 4 juniors that play, 1 sophomore. So it's kind of spread out, but
Yeah.
not that many seniors.
Gotcha.
So
So take us through the season here. So I'm looking at your schedule, all right? So you guys started off and you lost your first 3 games.
first 3.
Now, Taft High School, okay, they lost their first 3 games to start the season, just like you guys did. But with them, after Christmas, they went on a 9-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And they're playing very well, and they kind of gelled. Whereas you guys have been kind of back and forth. I mean, close to Christmas and right after, you guys went on another 3-game losing streak.
Yep.
But then later here in the season, you guys have knocked off the number 1 and number 2 team
Yeah.
in your conference. So talk to me a little bit about, you know, the start of the season and what's transpired to lead us
Yeah.
to now.
So this year we put in a new offense.
Okay.
And towards the beginning of the year, I think everyone was kind of still trying to get that down. And we played.
Now, what's the difference between last year's offense and this year's offense?
So last year's offense was attack. So we would get the guards attacking the lane.
Because you had Ben and Jay.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah. So we just keep attacking the lane and try to get shots off that. To whereas this year it's more of cutting and screening and trying to throw it into the bigs.
Gotcha.
So it's been different, but towards the middle of the season, I think everybody kind of clicked with it and
Okay.
started to get it down. So, and the first 3 games, St. X, Indian Hill, Milford, I think it was because we had some of the young players that starting and haven't played any varsity, and even Hunter Bodie
Yeah.
hasn't played much varsity at
Yep.
all. He played JV last year, so I think it's more of experience and
Yep.
kind of getting
It-
that gameplay down.
And those are 3 games to start the season that are tough.
Some good teams.
I mean, St. X they've proved to be a better basketball team, I think, than a lot of people thought they would be and what they've been
Right.
in the past. Indian Hill's always solid. We're going to talk about Colin Shawn a little bit with
Yeah.
Indian Hill and Milford. You know, they're always tough.
Always good teams.
So you know, in some ways, based on what you said, you want to start the season off maybe with 3 games of a lesser opponent, so you
Yeah.
can get going a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, it was a hard start to the season. Kind of didn't know where we would go from there, but I think everybody kept their heads up, and we've been playing well. So
Yeah, and so talk to us a little bit about 2 games in particular. One, you guys had a 1-point victory over Withrow, and then you also had a big win
big one,
against Walnut Hills.
Yeah.
Easily the biggest win on your schedule thus far,
definitely.
right?
No doubt.
So talk to us about the Withrow. So going into that Withrow game, I believe you guys were 6-9, something like that, going into that game.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So first time we played Withrow, we went double overtime with them,
Okay.
and I thought we should have won it. We were ahead pretty much the whole game till the 4th quarter, and then towards the end of the 2nd overtime. But I think we match up really well against Withrow, having Hunter Bodie,
Yeah.
and
And he's pretty athletic.
he is. He's very athletic.
Can dunk and
yeah,
block and
he can. So for his size, he's a good player. And then we matched up in zone. So we came out in 2-3. First time we played them, kind of shut down what they wanted to do,
Okay.
transition-wise and attacking the basket. So I think that was a big part of the double overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Second time we played him, did the same thing. Came out in a 2-3 the whole game, and pretty much just caught him off guard with what they wanted to do, and pulled out a win.
That's good, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And that type of stuff, I mean, you guys had some games where, you know, you lose, and in some games you probably lose. You figured out we could have won that basketball game, and
Yeah.
then you win a game like Withrow and also Walnut. Now your coach is basically telling you, see what you guys are capable of.
Right.
Right? Is that not the message he delivers?
Exactly. I mean, from the start of the season, even after the first 3 losses, he knows what we can do.
Yeah.
And he always tries to be positive and keep our heads up because he knows the potential we have.
Right.
Especially coming to the postseason, keep our heads up. We beat number 1 and number 2 team, so
Yep.
as of right now, we could beat anyone.
And the thing is, the losses you guys have had this year, you know, are against solid teams.
Yeah,
You know, you like we talked about the first 3 games for St. X, Indian Hill, Milford. You guys have lost to Milford twice. They're always solid.
they're always solid. Yeah.
Right, you lose to Withrow early, but then come back and beat them. You know, Sycamore and you lost to Walnut the first time. But you
Yeah.
come back and beat them.
Yeah.
The West Claremont, obviously, that loss was obviously disappointing.
Yeah,
62 to
that
29.
That was bad. We struggled that night.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, they're nights like that, but you guys bounce back.
Yeah.
Now after that West Claremont loss, losing 62 to 29, and then having to turn around and play basically your rival in the neighborhood, kind of the Xavier UC rival with
Right.
Turpin and Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are so close. You guys had to just quickly get that out of your mind and
We
prepare
did.
for that game.
We did.
And you win.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're not ready to go for the Turpin Anderson game, I don't think you should be playing. So I
Right.
think that was easy to bounce back from a big loss and coming out hot.
Now, your coach shouldn't have to even give you any pump-up
No,
speech before
no.
Turpin, right?
No, he even said that. He said, there's nothing to say.
So for those that don't know out there that are listening, Turpin and Anderson are pretty much separated by, what do you say, how many miles? Two miles?
Yeah.
Something like
If
that.
that, yeah.
Right? So very close. And the great thing about the rivalry is it's a lot different than some other schools' rivalry in that a lot of you guys grew up together. You guys went
Yep.
to Nagel or, you know.
Elementary schools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys know, in the football, the football game's always intense. The
They're
basketball
crazy.
game's always intense.
Yep.
And I want to ask you about, with that particular game, the student section. Is there a guy in the front row in the student section named Will Sultan? Does he usually, is he like with his
he
shirt
gets
off?
pretty rowdy, yeah.
This is what I hear.
He'll kick his legs up, but he'll get rowdy.
This is what I hear. And
Yeah.
sometimes he like takes his shirt off and is
Yeah.
painted. And
Yep. He's usually always next to a lady too, so
poor lady.
yeah, definitely.
Now, and what I've heard, I don't know this to be true, but before the big games, Will goes and lifts weights and does a bunch of push-ups so he could take his shirt off in the studio. Do you believe this to be true?
I believe it.
Okay.
I believe it.
Will, can you confirm this?
I can't confirm it. That's
Have you done that before?
never. I have
You've
not done that one
never.
time.
You've never worked out and done push-ups because on your Instagram, you have a picture. It was at a football game where you're front row, shirts
Yeah.
off, and there's like orange, like, I don't know what that was, that smoke or
Oh, and I'm going like this. I got my hands up in the air.
yeah. So you didn't do push-ups before you went and crunches?
No, I just.
Be honest.
No, I really didn't.
You just said, I'm just gonna go like this, and the ladies are gonna love me.
Yeah.
You're lying.
That's all you gotta do.
So let's jump into some of the players you've had to guard around the city. I mean, you've had to
Yeah.
guard some of the better players. And somebody we talked about before on the podcast, and who I think is one of the better athletes in our area, and that's Colin Shaw at Indian Hill High School. And obviously he's a very good basketball player, but he's also a very good football player.
Yeah.
And I think he'll go down as the greatest athlete to come out of Indian Hill High School. So you had to guard him.
I did.
And how did you do?
He
Or how have you done? Because you played him multiple
yeah,
times.
so the first year I played him, junior year, that was a chippy game, and me and him were kind of getting into it a little bit.
A little talk there?
Yeah, I'm not too much talk, but just a little chippy, you know.
Now, see, that's the
You're
thing.
a
Let's
talker out there.
Sometimes.
now that's the thing about you. Like, I've known you for a long time, since you were
Yeah.
just a little guy.
Yeah.
And you've always been like just like calm and smooth
Right.
and just go and do your thing. I don't see you talking a lot of trash.
You know, it just if something sets me off, I can get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now see, Will on the other hand, I could see him talking trash all
Oh,
day.
he does.
And
He does.
I believe it. I believe it.
Back it up.
You back it up?
Yeah, back it up.
Okay. Do you talk trash in tennis, by the way? Is it possible?
Yeah, sometimes.
What do you say?
I don't know what I say all the time, but like just if someone's like coming at me with stuff and I know I'm better, it just irritates me, and I just get after them and I beat them.
I think you talk more trash to the refs.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I see that a lot with tennis, where
Yeah.
they're yelling at the.
Yeah,
Officials.
Yeah, that's happened before.
I bet you probably break your racket and
Yeah,
stuff,
I've never
throw
broken
it.
a racket.
Okay.
In years.
You,
Chuck
I
it
said
to you
When I was
years.
younger, but
Right.
it's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Colin Shaw.
Yeah. Crazy athlete, hard to guard. He
Definitely.
is. He finds crazy ways to score.
Right.
Get in the lane, pivot. He's got a nice shot, so he's always hard to guard. It's a challenge, but
You've done well against him.
yeah, I think so.
What's been the key? So when you're guarding someone like a Colin Shaw, for those that haven't seen Colin play, like you were saying, he's very crafty at
Very.
getting to the basket, and then he'll float back, he'll fade away a little bit on
Yeah.
you.
And he makes them.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest key is stay down. Because I don't know if he wants to beat you off the dribble as much as he wants to get in the lane and pull up, as far as I saw.
Right.
So my biggest thing was just stay in front of him, get a hand up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How much tape do you watch, video of your opponent? Do you guys watch more tape of the opponent or tape of yourselves, trying to correct what you guys are doing wrong?
I would say we watch more tape of our opponent that we're about to play.
Okay.
We spend, I want to say, a good hour before the game, spread out kind of, watching film on the team we're about to play. So, and then I'll watch individual film if I know I'm going to be guarding a certain player
Right.
to see his tendencies or whatever.
Have you seen or heard, there was an interview with Tom Brady. And obviously Tom Brady lost last night, the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
to the Eagles. But one of the things that Tom Brady attributed to him doing well was watching film and breaking down not only himself but the opponents, and really, and when I played college basketball, that was such a big part with what we do. It's like knowing your opponents, watching what you do. I think that is so crucial to kids' success. I don't think enough players do it.
I give credit to my coach for that. They scout a lot of games. They watch a lot of film. We always have a really detailed scouting report. And I think it definitely helps us a lot to win some pretty big games.
Yep.
Just to know what they're going to throw at us, and even have multiple things that they could do. So I think that's a big part.
Now, you also had to guard St. X's leading scorer, Nathan Stockman, who all three of us know Nathan very well. Great kid and having a great season. And
he is.
Kind of like you, a kid that's in a role of leadership. And so you've had to guard him. How'd you do against Nathan?
I did pretty well. Me and Patrick Dames mixed up a little bit on him. So I think Pat wanted to guard him a little bit. They were getting into it, so.
Oh, talking a little?
Yeah. But he's quick. He can shoot.
Yeah.
He's got some good moves. He's hard to guard.
There's a picture. I don't know if you've seen it. Nathan Stockman is in a game versus, I believe it was Alter. And I don't know what transpired, but this is based on what I was told. And he crossed over a kid in Alter, and the kid fell down. And the kid is like laying down like he's asleep. Have you ever seen this picture?
I haven't.
I've got to show you this picture. I don't know why it's not his profile pic. Like, that would be mine for about 2 years. Like, he literally put this kid to bed. Like, take a nap. You got to see it. I'll definitely pull it up. So I want to jump into music a little bit. So a lot of kids, big part of pregame, warming up, is listening to music.
Yeah.
Is this a big part of your routine?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. I like rap music.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets me pretty focused.
Gets you fired up?
Yeah, it does.
All right, so
You guys are rocking that volleyball playlist.
Are you talking about the warm-up? The warm-up
CD,
tape?
yeah.
Well, let me ask you, before we talk about the actual warm-up music that you do at Anderson individually, with your headphones on,
right, yeah.
What are you listening to? Like, who gets you hyped up?
I like some old Drake.
Old Drake.
Yeah, I like some Mac Miller, Mark Battles.
I'm sorry, who's the last one?
Mark Battles.
Mark Battles.
Yeah, have you never heard of him?
No, it sounds like a local rapper.
Nah, he's pretty good.
I've never heard of this guy. Give me a song to listen to. I'm gonna go check that out.
Chicken. Listen to Chicken.
Wait a minute. I think you're making this up.
No, listen to Chicken.
The song's called Chicken?
It's called Chicken.
Now, so the key to your success this year has been listening to Mark Battles' song Chicken before every game. Okay, I'll make note of that. All right, you tell me this real quick. Who is the greatest rapper of all time? This is an important question.
That's hard to say.
Come on, you need to know this stuff. Right off the top.
My preference or?
Yes, I want yours.
My preference. I'd have to say Kendrick.
Kendrick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I'd say just from what, like my age of music.
Yeah. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. So you didn't mention Kendrick as a artist
No, I
you
do.
listen
I
to.
do listen to him. I was gonna get to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We just didn't get far enough down.
No.
So Mark Battle's Chicken is a little ahead of Kendrick's stuff to listen to, or are we mixing it together?
I mix it together.
You're mixing it with the chicken?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So during the warm-ups,
Uh-huh.
the playlist, who controls that?
That would be our athletic director.
Ooh, so your
Yeah.
athletic director, does he screen what's being played,
He
or is he
does.
picking the playlist from
He
his catalog of music?
so he's picking the playlist.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are you guys
so-
happy about that?
No, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's our volleyball mixtape.
Oh,
The
no!
volleyball girls. made it.
No!
So that's pretty bad.
Do the John Wall.
No!
Yeah, it is.
Stop it.
Bad.
So you really need to get like your fixing of Drake and Mac
Yeah,
Miller.
I gotta
and
get it while I
chicken.
can.
You need to get your chicken before the game.
Yeah, I do.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, Will, so with tennis, real quick, who do you listen to before you go out there and?
I usually listen to songs. I switch it up. It's kind of like, I don't really stick with a certain thing. I'll go between like old stuff or maybe some country music.
Before a
Or,
game?
or I'll just get hyped up. Like, I don't get hyped up till right before.
Okay.
I don't really think about it till like right before.
Okay.
And I listen to like maybe old Drake. Like I like old Drake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little Eminem.
Yeah, Eminem. I've been on the Eminem grind lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, not that new Eminem CD.
No, that's
No.
Yeah, that was.
That's
yeah,
whack.
that was.
Yeah.
So, real quick, what did you think of Justin Timberlake yesterday in the Super Bowl performance?
You know, I thought it was decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you? I gave it a B minus.
B minus.
What'd you give it?
I'd agree with that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Man.
It wasn't terrible.
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't spectacular.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I thought his dancing was pretty good.
Oh, his dancing's always
Yeah.
on point.
The
Wait,
Jays.
Yeah. Oh, comes out in the Jordan 3s with the
Yeah.
Nike swoosh,
Those were-
the 3M swoosh.
Those were nice.
Can't beat that.
No.
I ought to give him a little bit of a higher grade just for that alone.
Yeah.
He also did a tribute to Prince,
Yeah.
which was cool. The outside of the arena and turned purple, and it had the little Prince logo. What'd you grade it, Will? Because you're a big Timberlake guy.
I
You're a
give
big
it-
JT
I
guy.
give it an A. He could have sang more. Dance moves were A+.
Okay.
They always are.
Okay.
And I like the song choices. He picked all the right songs to do.
I agree with that. I like
Picked
the song
He picked
choices.
the right songs. And I liked when they did Mirrors. It's a
Okay.
good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about when he went into the crowd? Now, so being a big concert guy, I love concerts. I love going to concerts, and especially really big concerts.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that he went in the stands.
Yeah.
That-
And then
Yeah.
he took the selfie with Ryan McKenna, I think is the kid's name. I think that's his name.
He's already gone famous.
He's yo,
He's already
like I said, he's sliding in his DMs big time. What'd you think about that? Were you like, when you guys were watching that, you were like, what?
I
What's-
thought that was pretty cool
That
to
kid
see
should've
somebody
been-
like that
Yeah.
just walk right in.
Yeah.
You see
What-
all the security guards in every single
yeah.
aisle?
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah,
definitely not
yeah,
letting
For
you.
that, yeah.
What would you have done if Justin Timberlake walked up to you in the stands? What do you do?
Dap him up.
Dap 'em up.
Yeah.
Dap 'em up.
I don't know. I'd probably try to get a selfie.
You definitely
Yeah.
would do the selfie.
I would try to, yeah.
I'd
Okay.
probably go for video.
You get a little video.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just get a little sing along with me.
fair enough.
Yeah.
That would have sucked if his battery was like running out,
Yeah.
and it was just
Died
like,
mid-picture.
oh, that would have been terrible,
Would've.
right? Well, Drew, listen, I want you to stay with us because I'm gonna talk a little bit about UC basketball,
Okay.
and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the NBA. All right. So, are you a UC fan?
I am, but I don't follow too close to them.
Have you watched them at all this year?
I have.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I took Will to a game early this year.
Yeah, they smacked them. They played some like technical school out of Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, won by like 60 points.
Will could have got in and played.
Yeah,
He wouldn't have done well, but
No,
he would have got
I
it.
could have held the lead.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. So here's what I want to do. I want to jump into on UC's schedule here. 2 games I want to talk about. They played Houston and UConn. Now,
Man, that was a close one. Houston.
the Houston game?
Yeah.
Well, they got down by 18.
Yeah. Gary Clark.
He's a problem.
He's a problem.
He's a problem.
Gary Clark is a problem. Now, did you know there's a guitarist named Gary Clark Jr.? Did
Really?
you know that? Like a
that.
famous one.
Huh.
Yeah, just a little tidbit for you young people. Anyway, so they're down 18, and they just weren't playing very inspired. They just had to get it going. It was one of those things where I was watching the game, and I'm like, all right, UC's going to win this game. It's just a matter of them settling down and just starting to get their flow going. And obviously, Mick probably ripped them at halftime, right?
Yeah.
You know, getting down that much. But I think going into halftime, they might have been down by, I can't remember, like 3 or something like that. So they had marched back. Have you ever been in a game like that, Drew, where you guys are playing a team you know you could beat,
Yeah.
and you get down, and it's just like, okay, we're going to beat them. We just got to
Yeah.
settle in.
This year against Harrison, we were down pretty much the whole game, and I knew we were gonna beat them. I was getting mad, and came back and beat them by like 10, I think.
Yeah.
So exactly like that.
How'd you play that game?
I played pretty well. Yeah.
Now, when you guys were getting down and you said you got frustrated, did you start to really pick it up?
I did.
And see, that's what great leadership does.
Yeah.
So Gary Clark, the Jacob Evans, the Drew Huxtables
Right.
of the world. Drew Huxtable's a problem?
Drew Huxtable is a problem.
Dude, if you're in the student section, look,
gotta get that
who do you
guy.
guys, who do you guys play Tuesday?
Oh, we don't play Tuesday. We play Friday against Loveland.
Where's the game?
Anderson.
Okay, you're going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Now, if you don't do this, you and I have a problem.
All right.
You're going to have a big sign that says Drew Huxtable is a problem.
That'll be sweet.
I
Would
like
you do that?
I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Got you.
All right. I want to see that. What's your jersey number?
11.
11.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. What number is Gary Clark?
No way.
It's meant to be.
Oh,
Do you see how this is coming together?
That's crazy.
dang.
I gotta see
Good.
that though.
Are you going to do this?
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
I mean, I'll get you the board
I'm going to
to
get some help from some people, yeah.
look at this. This is my picture with Gary Clark. That's number 11 right there.
Number
Yeah.
11. That's a
Well,
good
how
number.
about that?
It's crazy.
You know what you should do? You should like superimpose Drew's face onto Gary Clark's body and like have it like in the corner and just put like Drew Huxtable is a problem.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Can we get
could
that
do
done?
that.
This
Yeah.
gonna happen?
I gotta work on that.
Dude, I'm excited. I need a picture. We're gonna put that picture up too.
What's
We're
your-
gonna post that.
What's your game Friday? Which one are you attending?
I am not sure yet.
Not sure yet.
Game time decision.
Yeah.
Games. I'm gonna go to a game on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Nice.
Just got to kind of weigh it out. See, UC plays on Tuesday at home, so I've got to figure that out. So back to this Houston game. I was really excited to see Kyle Washington step up and play well. I believe he had like 19 points. Have you ever seen Kyle Washington play, Drew?
I haven't.
Okay.
No.
He's UC's, I'm just going to say he's one of their big men. I can't call anybody a center anymore because I just don't feel like there are really a lot of true centers anymore in college
Yeah.
basketball because everybody wants to step out.
Right.
You know, he's a power forward, but there's not like a lot of power. He's almost like that Chris Bosh
Yeah.
type
yeah.
player, right?
Yeah.
And he's left-handed. But he shoots this jump hook that is, it defies all, like, there's no coach in America that is teaching his jump hook.
Yeah.
If anything, you're telling kids,
Not
don't
to.
shoot. Yeah, right. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But he makes them. It is the most bizarre. There has to be, if somebody hasn't done this yet, please do it. Put together a highlight of Kyle Washington's, the best of his jump hooks. You'll see, they'll spin the wrong way. It's bizarre.
It's hard to guard.
It's very hard to guard because it's like, how do you guard awkward?
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
you can prepare for sometimes a good player because they have proper technique and skill, but when it's just awkward, it's just like, and when awkward is effective,
Yeah.
then you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what happened versus Houston. Washington's awkwardness was effective. So he had 19 points. They go on to beat Houston 80-70. And there's next game on Saturday. They played UConn, and I've been talking about this. Any conference road game that you can win, I don't care if you win by 1 point, you take it. especially in college basketball, especially early in February. Anything you can get, you can take it and run. And they won 65 to 57. Jacob Evans played well. He had 19 points that game. And what's interesting about Jacob Evans, have you had a chance to see him play?
I've not.
If not, you need to. Man, we gotta get you on the Bearcat bandwagon, okay? Do you like Xavier?
Not really.
Okay, I'll take that as a no.
Yeah.
So, you need to see Jacob Evans play. I think he is one of UC's best prospects to be a pro, to be in the NBA. I think Gary Clark has a very good chance of playing in the NBA. He has a specific skill set. I hope that ends up translating to the NBA. I would love to see him be an effective NBA player. I think that would send a great message to a lot of players out there that are coming up, that you don't have to, play like this. You can play like Gary's like he's like a workhorse. He does a lot of dirty work. He gets a lot of rebounds, putbacks, and he's not flashy. He just gets the job done.
Right.
And I hope that he's able to take that and make an NBA career with it. But Jacob Evans, if you were to watch him, if you just look at him, and you'll go, oh yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah.
Like if you lined up against him, you're like, oh, this dude's about to drop 30 on us, right? So he looks the part, kind of like Will. Like when Will steps on the basketball court,
You just know.
you just know he's.
I look the part.
No, you don't. So
I don't know if I do the other part.
do you when you play tennis? Does that happen? Like you step on the tennis court and they're like,
for sure.
They know. what's
oh
up.
man,
Yeah.
this dude's a beast,
Some people just have that like swag to them.
and you've got that
You
swag.
got that?
Depends on who. Sometimes I have more confidence against certain people.
I
It's gotta relate to everything though.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
You're
hard though
playing?
to carry with everyone. Going in knowing they're better,
Right.
but you still got to somehow.
Fair enough. So Jacob Evans, and the thing about Jacob Evans is, and I'm going to bring this back to you, Drew, is like this year, Gary Clark is UC's guy. Like he's UC's team.
Yeah.
Jacob Evans is probably the better NBA prospect. But I feel like if he leaves for the draft now, I think he'll be fine. But if he stays another year, it could be his team,
Yeah.
like you have right now.
Yeah.
And he can take that year to work on things to be the man. Like
Yeah.
it is his show. If you looked at Trayvon Blewett from Xavier,
Yeah.
Trayvon Blewett obviously is having a tremendous season for Xavier.
Yeah.
One of the best players in the country. He went and tested the waters with the NBA draft last year, and it came back things like he needed to get in better shape and some different things. And he went and worked on those.
Yeah.
And now he comes back and he's having a tremendous season. He's put himself in a better position come NBA draft time,
Yeah.
right? So I'm figuring the same thing with Jacob Evans. I would love to see him come back, work on some of those things in the offseason, and basically have everything, all the keys and everything handed to him next year to run that show. Kind of like you do with Anderson this year, right?
Guess so.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at, like we always do, the next 5 games for the Bearcats. The next 5 games, they have 3 home games and 2 away games. These away games scare me. So the next home game is against UCF on Tuesday. I'm confident that they'll win that basketball game. They've done very well at home. I mean, UC's, I'm not sure what their home winning streak's up to at this point, but they're tough to beat at home. Then they go play SMU on the road, which that worries me a little bit. But what worries me more is right after we play SMU, we turn around and play at Houston. Now, we just talked about before, UC beat Houston at home, 80-70. We got down 18 points. We come all the way back. So that means we go play at Houston. They're going to be pumped up. They're going to be fired up.
Yeah.
They're going to be fired up to beat us,
Definitely.
right? So, and their crowd, see, we get down 18, and the crowd's like yelling at the Bearcats, like, pick it up. We're cheering them, encouraging them. At Houston, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Their fans are going to be yelling at us,
like
you suck.
UC is going to jump out the gate really strong in that one against Houston.
Well, now, why do you say that?
They're going to stay ahead the whole game because they know
I agree with that.
They know what they got into the first time and they messed around and got
I like
down.
that.
Yeah, I
And
agree
this
with
time
that.
they're ready.
I like that, Will.
Throw down some
They're
bets
kind
again.
of they're kind of mad they were even down 18.
They're not going to let it happen this time because
Yeah.
they know they're the better team and they're going to win.
I like that. I hope so.
Yeah.
Now, if UC, let's just look at this hypothetically. If UC can beat UCF at SMU, at Houston, and keep in mind, we're number 6 in the country right now. Okay. I think that's the highest ranking a Bearcat team has had under Mick Cronin. So that's definitely a great. That's great for the fans and for the program.
Definitely.
I know Mick Cronin is not telling his kids anything about that. He doesn't care about rankings, and the kids shouldn't either.
That goes out
No.
the window, March.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your focus in is winning basketball games, not worrying about rankings. So if hypothetically they can win the next 3 games, they then play Wichita State at home, which will be one of the big games, the biggest game of the season. Wichita State started off the season so well. They've had their ups and downs. They've struggled on the road, and they're kind of in a funky spot, but a very dangerous ball club.
Yeah.
Offensively, Wichita State is as talented as anybody we've seen. They've struggled a little bit on defense. Hopefully, we're able to exploit some of the things they do defensively. And if the crowd's into it, it's going to be packed at BB&T Arena. Have you been to NKU's arena?
I have.
It's a pretty cool arena.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Right?
It's a lot cooler than I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think them playing in BB&T Arena is going to help them by the time they're in March Madness and they're playing in a different site. Because they haven't been playing at their home site at UC.
Right,
They've been playing just
Yeah.
different places all the time.
right.
So I think once March comes, they're going to do really well.
Will, so far you've had 2 very good breakdowns.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you a lot of credit for that.
thank you.
All right? You're bringing a lot of value to this podcast.
That's what I'm here for.
Yep. Now, I can't say that's true for the past, but today you bring a lot of value.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, after the Wichita State victory, according to Will, we play UConn. UConn at home. I like our chances. We beat UConn at UConn. I like our chances at home. The key, the next 5 games, for me, just as a fan and a former player, if we can get by SMU and Houston, I don't care if we beat SMU by 1 and Houston by 1. I could care less. If we can get by them, I'm thinking we can beat Wichita State and UConn, and it really sets us up well for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I'll get into the rest of the schedule at a later point. But the key is this. The key in college basketball is at the end of the regular season to have a great opportunity to have a great seed in the tournament. Because seeding is everything.
Yeah.
Where they put you, your path to the Final Four. And in the past, UC has had matchups that just weren't good for them because of their seed. You know, last year, the Bearcats lose to UCLA.
Yeah.
That was a bad matchup
Oh yeah.
for the Bearcats.
That was.
Wasn't that like a large?
We played well, but I mean, UCLA was, they were beasts.
They had
Yeah.
a baller.
They had the big baller
Big
brand.
ball.
Lonzo Ball, baby.
Yeah.
So, all right, now I want to segue into our last discussion. I want to talk a little bit about the NBA.
I miss the ballers in America. I just want to say that.
I'd agree with you. I feel like there's something missing in my life with LaMelo and LiAngelo in Lithuania.
Yeah, it's not right.
Lithuania, LiAngelo, LaMelo, all the L's there.
Yeah.
I miss them. I miss LeVar. You know,
I've heard much about him lately.
Is he living out there with them?
he is.
He's
he
coaching.
is. He was helping coach, which
Yeah.
was very interesting. We need some LeVar Ball in our life,
We do.
right? We need a little bit more. And,
How do you feel about his basketball league?
You know, that's a very good question, and that
Yeah.
might be something we dive into a little bit further in another podcast. But to answer your question in a short way, I think it's actually conceptually it's a good idea because honestly, here's what I appreciate about LeVar Ball. I don't care what anybody says. He says some crazy stuff, and I think it's all part of his marketing plan
Yeah.
to get you talking about him. But I appreciate anybody that challenges the way we do things in America basketball-wise, whether it's the NCAA, whether it's Ohio high school basketball, whatever it is, because I think there are rules and things we have in place that don't benefit our student
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
And we need to constantly challenge those to put our student athletes in better positions to be successful, not only on the court, but later in life.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes along, as crazy as they might be, if they challenge that to rework the system, I'm all for it. LeVar Ball might be doing it in a very odd way. His concepts might not be the exact answer, but it might help us get to that answer of what do we need to help these student athletes. Because honestly, and I'm around a lot of high school basketball. I know college very, very well. I know a lot of kids in college. I follow the NBA. Our system in America with basketball is honestly broken.
Yeah.
It's broken in a lot of ways, and I think there are ways that it can be fixed, but it needs to be challenged to be fixed. Otherwise, just keep on driving.
Yeah.
Someone's got to challenge it.
He's got the publicity to do it.
He has the attention. That's
Yeah.
right. But the key has been, people are like, oh, well, somebody else could have done it. No, he had the son at that time, Lonzo, that was good enough that could give him the voice to do that.
Yeah.
So Lonzo and the potential of LaMelo, LiAngelo's okay, but
Yeah.
you've got 3 kids. Now you've got basically 3 different kids coming through at different ages where you can continue to try to get, your message across. And I'm all for it. I mean, he might do it in a crazy way, but this league he's putting together, if it helps kids, and if it helps kids that might be in not the greatest situation, or it helps put them in a better position, basketball, whatever, and they can make money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that will challenge the NCAA, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Now he might go about and not do it the right way, and somebody comes across and comes along and does it a different way that's better.
Could happen.
Then he sparked the mind to do that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's I didn't plan to talk about LeVar Ball today, but we did. I appreciate that,
You
though.
always
Had to
find
bring
a
it
way to
up.
talk about him.
You always got to talk about LeVar Ball. I don't care what you're
He
doing.
relates to every aspect of life.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we need to find a way for you to become the first Big Baller brand tennis player.
That would be sweet.
How about that?
Get some Big Baller brand t-shirts and shorts and shoes.
Yep, Triple B, baby.
Start rocking it.
I think it'll be. Let's tweet at him.
Yeah. I'll
Get a
tweet at him.
BBB racket.
When's the
A BBB racket.
That would be pretty
I love
cool.
that.
When's the tennis line coming out?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You want to get at him?
Yeah, I get at him.
Okay, let's make that happen. I'm not kidding either.
I
But
know.
it all starts with that Drew Huxtable's the problem sign.
I got a few things to do.
So on that sign, I want Drew Huxtable's a problem, but you got to have Triple B in the corner, though. Will you put Big Baller brand in the corner?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Drew, would you wear Big Baller brand shoes in a game?
I would. I would if I didn't have to pay for them. I would.
Okay. Well, once Will becomes a Big Baller brand athlete, he'll definitely hook you up.
Hook me
Yeah.
up.
Right, Will?
I'll get you.
You're all for that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the NBA real quick. Do you watch much NBA, Drew?
Barely.
Burley.
Yeah.
Well, I happen to go. I'm a big NBA guy. Love the NBA. I happened to go to the Sixers-Pacers game the other night because I wanted to see the process.
How was the process?
It was interesting. When I got to the game, I was lucky enough. I stumbled upon this, but through a connection, my seats were right behind the Sixers bench. Like I'm where Will is and where I am. That's how close I was
Dang.
to Joel Embiid and the whole crew, Ben Simmons and all them. Embiid is enormous. I mean, like Indiana's biggest guy was so much smaller
Yeah.
than Embiid. It was, just how massive Embiid is, and then his skill set, his ability to move. Now, they just released him to play back-to-back games, and that was one of his first back-to-back games. And I think it was one of the first, but He looked a little bit tired and sluggish in certain spots.
Yeah.
They took him out. They were really monitoring his minutes. But man, when he's energized and he's going, bro,
He's a monster.
he's special.
Yeah.
Now, how did Simmons play?
You know, Simmons didn't have a great game. I thought he had an okay game. I was expecting a little bit more from him. He's well put together. He's very proportioned. I mean, he's got a nice size, upper body, lower body, like things are proportioned out.
Now, this is his second year, but he could win Rookie of the Year.
Right, which I told you I disagree with that.
Completely with, yeah.
Yes, I'm not
Because he
a
was injured.
yes, because he was injured last year, so technically, you know, he
Yeah.
didn't play. But I just don't agree with that. I'm just like, you know what? You're just not up for Rookie of the Year, plain and simple. You know, the people that are there for their first year, that's what the award is. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's a totally different argument. I have to say that for Glenn, our other co-host of the No Further Comments podcast, because he disagrees with me,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. But no, Ben Simmons, he did okay. It's interesting because I think he passes the basketball so well. He has the ability to take over a game offensively, but he also has the ability to orchestrate and conduct a game, which I think is very unique. And I think the other player who does that is LeBron James.
Yeah.
Because remember, at one point during the season, LeBron James was running point guard.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, throwing great passes. He throws, I mean, obviously he's an excellent passer in transition. And Ben Simmons is very much, you know, like that. I think, honestly, offensively, Ben Simmons is a lot smoother than LeBron.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think LeBron's, and I know I'll probably get blasted for this, but I've never looked at LeBron as a great offensive player. I've always looked at him as, obviously he's much bigger and stronger than everyone, and he's able to. Well, of course, he's got skill. Don't get me wrong, but he's able to kind of bully some people in certain spots. Where I feel like Ben Simmons is a more natural type of
Yeah.
scorer, right?
Yeah.
But LeBron does so many things. If I'm Ben Simmons, I watch early LeBron film for like the entire offseason. I'm going to look at how LeBron was the first 3 years of his career, and then I start looking at film of him now and look at that transformation, look at what he's done, because you know, you've got to use him as a blueprint. Ben Simmons uses LeBron as a blueprint for success. Watch out.
Yeah.
So now you've got Simmons and Joel Embiid, who's going to do nothing but get better, and you put those two together. That is scary.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. Like Drew Huxtable is a problem. Those two are a problem. And I was fortunate enough too, one of the point guards for the 76ers, TJ McConnell. He played at Arizona, and I got to know him during his time at Arizona. Got to know him really well, and to this day, still talk to him. And I text messaged him that I was coming to the game, and he got me some passes for after the game, so I got a chance to go down and talk to him after the game. I saw Ben Simmons.
That's awesome.
Ben Simmons would not take a picture though. He didn't.
Why not?
Well, the pass I have, it's only like family.
Okay.
And he had a lot of family there. There was probably about 12 people, and every one of his family was taking pictures. I think he just was kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to interrupt him while he was talking to his family, but then when he finished, I kind of went over and he's like, "Man, I gotta go." So I was like, "I get it."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't a big deal, but I wanted to actually meet Embiid because he seems like just such a character and a good dude, right?
He does.
And I wanted to see how small I looked compared to him.
Up to his waist.
Oh my God, he's so big. But that was good catching up with TJ. But I'm gonna tell you what's interesting. And I can't tell you what TJ said to me after the game regarding team stuff, because that was kind of a private situation. Not that he said anything bad, but that was this private conversation. But sitting behind the bench, it was cool to watch how the NBA players interacted with the coaches, because a lot of these guys are making millions of dollars. They're getting paid more than the coaches.
Yeah.
So it's almost like in the NBA, the players are in charge more than the coaches are in some cases. Not all of them, in some cases. And it was just interesting to see when guys would come out of the games and how they get frustrated with their playing time, and you could see it, and how the NBA coaches interact with the players is just so different, very different than how they react with you at the high school level or how they react with Gary Clark at the college level. Okay, so that was very cool to see. But I tell you what, they're going to be tough to beat if they can stay on course. And I know their number one pick, Markelle Fultz, was out. He's still injured. And he's got a funky shot going on right now. I don't know what that is. That was only one cough this podcast. We're not done.
Pretty
but
quiet, too.
I know.
Mention it.
How about that? But and depending on how he turns out, man, they could be a force to reckon with for
could.
It's a close
for a
conference
while.
right now. It's a close conference.
What are we looking at with the Sixers?
They're in third. They're 25 and 25, and then the Heat and the Pacers are above them. But the Pacers are 30 and 24, and then Heat are 29 and 24.
I tell you what, the Pacers are playing pretty well. But I tell you, for going to an NBA game, the Pacers arena, that whole situation is great. Have you been to a Pacers game before, Drew?
I've been wanting to go.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Never.
I've heard it's pretty cool.
Dude, go, because it's an easy drive. Okay,
Yeah.
you'll get there very easily. Then when you get off at the exit, the arena's like 2 streets off the exit. Parking is. I've been to tons of games there. Parking's never a problem. Easy walk. Tons of restaurants in the area. The arena's so fan friendly. It's a great place to go watch a game. Not a bad seat.
I'll be
That's
close to
awesome.
it next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
At
so
DePaul.
When you go to a game, let me know. I'll be there.
I will.
I'll be like 40, 35 minutes from
I'll
now.
pick you up. We'll go watch the Sixers play.
Sounds good.
That'd be a good deal. All right, we're in for that.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds good. So, but lastly on the NBA, we're getting close to the All-Star break. And I've talked before about MVP, Rookie of the Year. A lot of that stuff will change because I always say it's before All-Star break and after the All-Star break. And right now, up to this point, I'd say MVP of the NBA right now, I'm going to say James Harden.
He's going off.
Yep.
He's going
He's
off.
cooking.
He's cooking.
He's cooking.
Yeah.
Have you watched much, and do you have an MVP?
I would have to say James Harden, too. Just the way he's scoring.
Yep.
I don't think anybody can stop him.
He's tough to guard.
He is.
Imagine you talked about guarding Colin Shaw. Imagine guarding James Harden,
He's so long, too.
Yeah.
His arms dangle down.
and his footwork's just awesome.
Crazy.
Your MVP, Will.
Who's up there right now? Westbrook's playing well, isn't he?
I mean, he always
Harden, yeah.
he always does his thing. I've told you my issue with Westbrook.
What's that?
I think a lot of his stats are contrived. Like he'd rather get the statistics and like a triple double.
Yeah.
I think he puts that at a higher
Because that was like...
importance than the actual game itself.
I could see that.
Because last year everybody was just keeping track. Like,
Yep.
oh, you're on this amount, this amount, this amount.
Yep.
He just
I
kept
could
chasing
see
them.
that.
And I think he did that because of KD. So KD leaves and goes to Golden
Yeah.
State. So I think his
So he
his
can take over.
exactly. He's like, okay, we're not going to win the NBA title, but instead I could win MVP to show him. I think
Yeah.
that's what he was
Yeah,
after.
I can definitely
Yeah,
see
I
that.
see that.
So your pick is?
I'm going to go with Harden. Maybe someone off the Warriors. Maybe KD picks it up later on.
Yep. You know. To be honest with you, there are my timer's going off there. There are 2 seasons
Yeah.
in the NBA. There's before All Star, like I said, and
Mini-seasons.
that's
Yeah.
right. You're learning.
Yeah.
You are learning so much in our podcast. I'm gonna tell you what he's learning. He's learning in basketball, breaking things down into mini seasons, and he's also learning about Big Daddy Kane, the
Daddy
iconic
Kane. I
90s
learned
rapper.
about him today.
What'd you learn about Big Daddy Kane?
He's what a rapper looks like.
What are his dancers?
That's right.
names?
Dancers' names?
Scoop.
And
I don't know the other.
yeah, you do.
I don't.
This is
do.
disappointing.
Scoop and something. I don't know.
Come on.
Will you tell him?
Scoop and scrap.
Scrap. I don't know.
Come on.
Scoop and scrap.
But you got to put their last name into it. Scoop and Scrap.
He knows it. He just doesn't want to say
How
it.
am I supposed to know?
I know he knows it.
Will, would you tell him, please?
Lava. Now you guys.
that? Love him.
Yeah.
You got to say it like Will said it. So put it all together. You ready? Go.
Scoop and scrap. Love him.
This is great. Yeah, I enjoy this. Just having young people talk about Scoop and Scrap Lover. I wonder what Scoop and Scrap Lover are doing right now.
Probably listen to this.
Yeah,
They definitely aren't
tune
listening
in.
to this.
Say it.
They're like, why are we being talked about on a basketball podcast?
If they listen to this podcast, they would hear their instrumental every single time.
I know.
They'd be like, these guys love us. We gotta give them.
I've got a great idea.
Feature.
I've got a great idea. Before next game. So Friday, you play Loveland.
Yep.
My guy Will's going to be there with a big sign that says,
Drew Hux is a problem.
Drew Huxtable's a problem. Prior to the game, you are going to listen to Big Daddy
I
Kane.
will.
Is that a great idea?
That's a
great
great
idea.
idea.
If you come out and drop 30.
I think he should bring a speaker and bump it.
What if I get the AD to play it through the?
If the AD played it, I'm telling you, game's over.
It's over.
So Drew, last thing I want to say,
Yep.
and I'm bringing this up last. I need to apologize to you. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, and the reason I'm sorry is because last week, Will had brought to my attention that you guys played Walnut. We're going to play Walnut Hills. And I thought you guys would lose to Walnut Hills. And let's just be honest. Most people that have seen Walnut, seen you guys, look at the record, if you were to say, who do you think would win? People
Yeah.
would say Walnut, right?
Definitely.
And I say to him, and listen, Will, he's your guy. He goes to Anderson. He's back in Anderson. And I say, I think Walnut will win. And the bet was I had to grow my hair out for a year. And you know how good looking I am with this bald head.
We shook on it.
We did
Everything.
shake
It was
on it.
legit.
And you guys came out and you beat. Now he
I
texted,
texted him.
and I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
I had to go to Anderson Redskins Twitter or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and see. And it was a picture of you guys and said Redskins win, Redskins win. You see that?
I saw that.
And I was like, oh my Lord, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And I apologize to you because how dare I doubt you guys, right? But you only had 8 points that
I
game.
only had 8 points. Yeah.
And so, like I said to you earlier, before we started the podcast, if someone was to say Anderson's leader, Drew Huxtable, has 8 points and they beat Walnut, I say no way.
Yeah.
No way that happens. And it happened.
It did.
So credit to you guys. Great victory.
Thank
Hats
you.
off. Hats off to your coaches for getting you guys prepared for that game. It must have been an excellent game plan.
It was.
Yep.
Definitely.
So how dare I ever doubt the Anderson Redskins?
It's a tough
Word.
loss.
It won't happen again.
Or betting against me.
Or betting against Will. I'm not having a very good year with my bets with Will. What was the other bet?
You're 0 for 2.
Oh, my other bet. Go ahead, Will. I'll let you lay it up.
I said McNick would beat your former high school Roger Bacon by 30,
The Roger Bacon High School.
and it beat him by 30. So if UC makes the Final Four, I got tickets.
Wait a minute. I don't think they beat them by 30, did they? It was like, I think we missed it by 1 point, didn't we? Or you did.
29.
I said beat him by 20.
You said
And they-
beat them by 20?
20 or more, and they did.
This is
And they
disappointing.
beat him by 30.
This is just disappointing.
I know, so UC's just got to make the Final Four, and I'll be there.
This has been a tough year for me, Drew.
I'll be at
bets.
the Final Four, and you're going to have a full set of hair.
You know, I had to go on TV the other day on my Channel 5 WLWT segment, my Basketball Insider segment. I had to talk about this, and that hurt, Drew. It really was tough. It was tough to do it.
Bet. You just need a wig.
I know. It's trust me growing my hair out is not a good look. Not a good look at all. And speaking of hair, Big Daddy Kane, He had the high top fade. You know what that is?
Yeah, of course.
I
You
have
had that, didn't you?
I did. I had one when I was younger.
Did you look up to him?
If I did look up to Big Daddy Kane, if I could grow that again, I would. That's what I would grow for a
Yeah.
year, but
Yeah.
I can't. There's the expiration
What's that
date.
stuff called that the commercials?
Don't stop. I know you're going. Don't. You're saying Rogaine. Right. Or the stuff you spray on. Stop it. I see what you're
Hey,
doing.
get whatever LeBron got.
Oh, jeez. He needs to let it go.
He does.
Right?
He does.
See,
With the MJ.
yeah. See, I think here's my theory. There's so many comparisons to Michael Jordan. Not that they're the same player, but greatness.
Yeah.
So my thought process is LeBron does not want to shave his head because that's
be
one more
compared.
thing.
I think so.
Right? You got
Yeah.
the 23 already jersey. You got your own shoe line.
Yep.
You know, he's on the quest for these championships. And then he comes and shaves his head, then it's, it's more conversation. So
Yep.
so
He
he's
should grow it out.
I don't think he should grow it out.
Go the other way.
I think he should. If he shaved it and then just kept a beard,
Yeah.
like not the Rick Ross beard.
Harden beard.
No, not
The
the
LeBron
Harden.
James beard.
The
He
Har-
already has it.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
keep like the beard he has now. So the Harden and the Rick Ross beard are the same thing. You could take
Yeah.
them off and put them on
Yeah.
the other person. It's the same thing. I agree with that. He should keep the beard and he'd be fine. But I never thought we'd venture into LeVar Ball talk and LeBron James needs to shave his head this podcast. But it made for excellent conversation. I want to thank you, Drew.
No problem.
For
Thanks
coming
for
on.
having me.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
And I wish you luck on Friday.
Thank you.
I need two things from you. I need that picture of you and Will when you guys were young.
Okay.
And then I need a picture of him holding a sign that says Drew Huxtable is a problem.
Got
We
it.
can get that.
Okay?
We'll get that done.
Those two things happen, I will be a happy camper. I want to thank everybody for listening to another edition of the Basketball Insider
Basketball Insider.
edition of the No Further Comment podcast. Will, as usual,
It's a pleasure.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Drew, for coming on.
Problem.